This is Kath and Joe doing the Streathton Summits round.
It's a beautiful sunny day and we're on top of
Caradoc Hill.
We've decided it's not quite windy enough for a typical Tea and Trails intro.
So Joe's going to blow. Welcome to the Tea and Trails podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Tea and Trails podcast, and thanks for the intro, Catherine and Joe. Coming in our ears from the Streathton Summits round. Sensational blowing, Joe. What is the Streathton Summits round? Well, I'm going to tell you. The round is an 18.5 mile circular round with around 4,000 feet of ascent and is open year round for anyone to enjoy for free. The round has been born from our love of the Shropshire Hills and in particular those around Church Streathton, providing us with spectacular views and cracking trails all within a short walk from the doorstep, starting and ending at the Outdoor Depot shop at 29 Stamford Avenue in Church Streathton, SY6 6BH. The route takes in the majority of the summits visible from the town. The challenge, complete the round within the shop hours. That sounds incredible. I've never been to Church Streathton.
Where is Church Streathton, Gary?
It's kind of, this is like terrible, really rough geography, but it's the West Country.
West Country as in Somerset?
No, like Birmingham. I think that was the nearest big city that I saw when I zoomed out. I wonder what Church Streathton's cafe game's like, because I always love a little cafe debrief after a big day out. Please keep those intros coming. Email them to hello@teaandtrails.com. Kudos, high five, and big hugs to all our patrons and everyone who's joined Patreon over the last week. For the price of a cuppa, you can help keep the lights hot and the mics on and save big time on all your trail running essentials. Loads of brands offering great discounts over on Patreon. I ordered something from X Miles, Eddie, and I forgot to use my Patreon. I'm still not over it. I was mid dog walk and I realised, shit, I didn't use my discount.
Don't sweat. I used the Precision Fuel and Hydration. I got £40 off, Gary. £40 off on.
But when you do these big races, you've got races across Scotland, obviously Lakeland, 113 valleys. You're doing the maths. You want to do 2 or 3 gels an hour or whatever it is. You multiply that by 36, I think my 13 valleys was. Huge savings to be made over there. Don't forget, if you want a snood or bobble hat, then you need to add your address to Patreon. No address, no goodies. New Patreon perks. Well, one of them is a not so new Patreon perk, but we thought we'd just mention it again. Ocean Lube are offering 15% off for you lovely patrons and 10% off for our wider community. Pop over to Patreon for your 15% discount code or use the code TAndTrails for 10% off. Check them out at www.oceanlube.co.uk. Also, Pulsio. You might have seen recovery boots, massage guns, sauna tents. I nearly bought one of their sauna tents. All that kind of stuff. Well, patrons can now receive 10% off over at www.pulsio.co.uk.
You've been knocking on Pulsio's door for a number of years now, trying to
knocking on Pulsio's door.
trying to get some recovery boots or the whole. But it won't be long before there's a post on Instagram and you're
for
in the
transparency. They have not sent me anything. I do visualize myself.
You won't give up though, Gary. I see those emails. Oh, hi. Oh, hi. Hi.
You might have heard of us.
It's no us. There's no us. There's me. I need my recovery. No, it's not true. Thanks to X Miles, Precision Fuel Hydration, Harrier Trail Running, Phoenix Light UK and Protein Rebel for sponsoring our show. X Miles is a family-owned independent endurance sports retailer that provides nutritional goods, apparel and accessories to help athletes perform and recover at the best. X Miles offers a wide range of high-quality products from leading brands, and their team of nutrition experts, cyclists, runners and outdoor enthusiasts can provide expert advice and guidance to help you reach your goals. Whether you're a seasoned athlete or just getting started, X Miles is the perfect place to find everything you need. Listeners can get your 10% store credit. Make sure you use it at www.xmiles.co.uk via the link in your show notes. Thank you as ever to Yugoku Projects who produce our Tea and Trails cap. Mine's been washed again. It was absolutely, I dipped it in a stream.
Find mine.
What?
I know, I have to get it ready for the Lakeland 100.
I dipped mine in a very dodgy stream that I wasn't going to drink out of on Sunday. And it came out full of mud because it was basically a puddle. It wasn't a stream. What did I do? I just put it straight on my head. I thought, I don't care. And then I had like a mud ring around my forehead when I stopped from the dodgy water from the gap.
Muddy ring.
So I was like, my muddy ring, I need a shower. And that cap, I was like, I'm just going to have to wash it again. I always get nervous, like heavy washing running kit. You know me. I don't like things to be too fresh. But it's washed again. It comes up all lovely and soft. I don't think it's.
Well, I think you just keep throwing it in.
It hasn't got any qualities. Like I'm always like never wash my waterproof jacket until it's absolutely fetid. Don't forget, with the UK Code Project, you can get 20% off if you're a patron. And if you're looking for all our discount codes, head over to Patreon, teaandtrails.com. They're pinned at the top. A few people are saying, where are the codes?
The app is a bit clunky, but it is there.
It's not. They're there. Come on, guys. You can do it. It's been a while, Gaza. It's been a while since we touched. When did
Too
we
long,
last?
Eddie.
We had a quick debrief of Tea and Trails Ultra. That was incredible. That was so funny talking to Shane and Libby as I was driving around the hairpin bends of Cape Wrath. I was literally, Gary, in the middle of nowhere. There was nothing. There was just like mountains, locks, kids and chaos behind me.
We don't get that in England. I don't know about Wales so much. I can't really speak for Wales, but we definitely don't get that solitude in England.
The solitude of just the old rattling van. But I think it did pause the video call at one point because Shane was like, it's paused on your face, Eddie, and you look really annoyed.
How was it though? Look, pictures look awesome.
The pictures speak. You know when it's Instagram reality versus... It was great. We had a fantastic holiday. I mean, the highlights were being together as a family. You can't beat when you go in your holiday bubble and you're just all together and there's the highs and the lows. We were holding on tight to it, as you know, Gary, because you were a few years ahead of me, of that fact that it could be one of our last, like all of us together. Kids actually want to be with us, sort of.
Yeah.
They're tolerating us still, and they're happy to play card games and just hang and just be and go for walks.
Well, I was thinking of that. When we go to Finland, it does feel like, this is not a negative, but it does feel like I'm going back maybe 20 years in time. There's so much more focus on being together. And the last time we went with all the smart devices and we were in Airbnb with Wi-Fi, we lost a little bit of that magic.
Exactly. It's the not having, I think I messaged you, or didn't I, saying there's nothing. We've got nothing. Goodbye, my lover. But yeah, oh my gosh, Scotland is beautiful. Bryn kept saying, this isn't a Greek island, is it? Because we'd sort of discussed going away for like a week in Greece or having this sort of camping holiday. It's not. Let's face it. If you go on a camping holiday with kids, for the kids, it is the ultimate in freedom, in like running wild, staying up till midnight, barbecued sausages, on the beach, sand in every crevice, not showering, wearing the same. It's a kid's dream, and for parents, it's just exhausting. And we did have the first 3 or 4 days. It just rained, Gary. It rained and rained and rained and rained. Everything was wet. We had reality hit quite soon. I was like, everything's wet. We've got no space. We've got like this little square we're living in with the dogs. Lindy was in season. Oh my God, it was all like, I was all too much. I said to the kids, are you enjoying this? I sort of said that we were tucked up in our...
Were you on booking.com as you were having this conversation?
Don't joke. When everyone was asleep, I went on Airbnb and I thought, could I get somewhere for the weekend just so that I could dry my pants? And I said to the kids, like, do you want to just, we're 4 hours from home. No way, Mum. We are loving this. They were like, we're not quitters. We're in it. I was like, oh God, what have I created? Anyway, but yeah, so we could see on the weather app that it was improving. Hang on in there. And I do think it takes a little time to decompress when you go from and then you go on holiday and suddenly like
I just want to sleep.
I'd wake up every morning and look like I was in the middle of a multi-day event. You know when you get those like really puffy eyes and you're like really dehydrated. All I'd done was crawl out of the tent. But anyway, Scotland, I did think Scotland We saw bits of Scotland we would never have seen otherwise. It's just breathtakingly beautiful. And we kept saying, look, kids, look. And they'd be like, another mountain, another lock. But it was absolutely beautiful. And what was amazing was we'd read a lot about this route saying it's really busy, the really narrow roads, be really careful, book ahead at the campsites. Gary, there was nobody there. The only real traffic actually maybe on that area call where the road was really, really narrow, it was literally a single lane for like 50k. Every time you met somebody, you had to go in the passing place. So that took a bit of time.
Goodness me, 50k of that.
Yeah, it was a long. The rest of it, like quiet roads. We literally had every single beach to ourselves. There was nobody on the most beautiful beaches. I mean, the weather was wild. I didn't put my feet even in the sea, Gary. It was so cold.
Shocking.
It was so cold.
There's a beach in Scotland. It was obviously different weather to what you had, but they used the photographs from that beach to promote Thailand. That's how stunning the beach was.
I mean, that is what they look like. They look like that, Gary. But the actual reality is that when you touch the water, it's absolutely freezing. Yeah. It's Baltic. And the wind is always like, one night, I honestly, Bryn, I was like, I'm actually worried we're not going to make it through the night. The wind was going.
Could you sleep in the van too, or were you always camping?
Yeah, so that night we slept in the van because the wind was so strong we couldn't put the tent up. It wouldn't have made it through the night. We were like right on the top of Scotland. We were like the furthest north you could get. And hitting the wind, and it was hard work, but it was like, we've seen bits of Scotland that we would never have seen. You have to really make the effort to go, and I just couldn't get over how quiet it was. But also, like, you went to like the car parks where these beautiful beaches were, and everyone would be in the car park, come out, take the picture. They wouldn't actually go on the beach. We were the only people. Why is this, Gary, only people playing cricket on the beach in the 50-mile-an-hour winds? But anyway, it was super fun. Running was really tricky. It was really tricky because when it was really wet, I'd be very unmotivated to go out and then come back and just stand in my dripping wet clothes thinking, where am I going to put these? So what I did was I would get Bryn, with the days we moved around, he would drop me like miles from the campsite, and then I'd run into the campsite. So they'd just drop me off and off they'd go. Bye. I'd see the little van going off and I would run however by
yourself.
Delicious. Best bit of the holiday. I really enjoyed those little runs. I did feel a bit guilty. I did that like 3 or 4 times, and then I felt like, because then I'd arrive and they'd have everything set up. I'd be like, that's a bit slack, that. We had planned to do some of the Munros up there, but the weather, there was no way that I was going to take the kids up in no visibility, rain and wind.
We've had a heat wave, Eddie. Did it ever make its way north?
No. So we did walks, but like low level walks. We did a lot of beach time. We did a lot of Uno. We did a lot of Go Fish all my life. I started to get a little bit of the fear of my average mileage was going down. And I was like, this is not the time. This is bad timing of like 5 weeks before a race when you should be in your peak flow. And I was camping, doing 5 miles. I decided to plan a little adventure, Gary. You know, my little adventures. So I'm a bit of cramming. So I thought, how many miles do I need to do to make up to my weekly mileage that I like to tick? I've got 39 to do. So I planned a route to Grandma's house on the way back, plotted it on Strava. And the beautiful thing about Scotland is because it's right to Rome, there isn't that stress of like finding the footpath, because if you get lost, you can like cut across, you can...
Getting shot by a Dutton or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, you can go where, you know, as long as you're sensible, you don't need to stress. But there is really good access as well. There's tracks all over the mountains, etc., etc. So I planned this solo adventure. I got really nervous, Gary. I was so nervous, Gary. I couldn't sleep the night before because I was like, oh, it's a long way. It's a long way. And I felt a bit like it was a bit of a race, bit of a challenge. And I didn't know the route. I'd sort of like planned this route and I knew a little bit of it, but a lot of it I'd seen from the car, but I didn't know if I could put together. I packed my mandatory kit for a race across Scotland, but it was due to be the hottest day in Scotland. So we did have 2 days heat wave, 3 days heat wave when we came back. So I took 2 litres of water, knowing that I could fill up 25 miles into it. This
heavy,
is one
wasn't
of my.
it? 2 litres.
It is heavy. It is heavy. But anyway, I plan to go at like 200-mile pace. So walk all the uphills, literally all the uphills. So even on the road, where normally I would never walk an uphill on a road, even the little inclines, which is a discipline.
So you would do that by the incline. See, I would when my heart rate tips into a certain.
Yeah, so I had my heart rate on 2 and I was like, 140 is like my really totally easy, cruisy all-day pace. So every time it goes a little bit over than that, dock it back down. I was also very nervous because it was going to be really hot, but I didn't want to be that person on, what was it, mash.com or something, that mountain rescue have to come out because of a sunstroke. So I set off at 6, not having slept very well, and it was all going so well until I reckon, great route, really happy with my route. So it was about 8 miles, but only on lanes to get to the hills and then into the hills. Gary, I saw nobody apart from my little mid co-op stop. I didn't pass a single walker, biker, nothing for the whole run. I find going at that like easy pace, like when you're by yourself, really boring in a way because it's slow. When you're with people, it's easier because you can like chat and just be like, when you're by yourself, I personally find like I want to get like, come on, let's get going. But I was like, no, I want to run at this pace because I want to dial in my fueling. And I'm also got to say, I can't get hot because I haven't got enough water. I should have carried more, but had I carried more, I don't think I'd have been able to run a step. It was really heavy, my bag. Bryn messaged me about 9 saying, how you doing? And I tried to share my live location anyway. I need to get a Garmin InReach, I think, because it wasn't working. And I was like, yeah, it's all going fine. Yeah, I'm just coming. I think I'm only like 10k from halfway and then it's another 10k to water. So anyway, it did get really hot. I reckon it was about 33. And I did run out of water and I was further than I thought from the co-op. So I started taking my salt tablets to try and like fool my brain into thinking that it was hydrated. And I thought maybe it's like, if I give it salt, it won't be like...
That is a thing. I think with carbohydrates, I've heard that mouthwash.
Yeah, so I was like putting a salt, I was like, right, a salt tablet every like 20 minutes instead of, but then because I had no moisture. I was like sucking on my bottles going, oh, please. Got up to the top and I thought, when I come over the top, I'm going to see the village with the co-op. And then I got over the top, it was nothing there. I was like, I've done so badly here. I'm so dehydrated. And I could not, it was like a bumpy sort of track. And I was like, this is such good running. And I was like, I can't run, I'm so sore. And good lessons learned, but also really good lessons. I'd run out of water. So I just had to take the effort. Don't panic. I've still probably got 2 hours left to go. Take the effort right down. Just wet everything down and just take the effort right down. Bryn was coming to meet me with the kids. And I said, how far do you think it is? Can you see? And he's like, I think it's about, I thought he was going to say like 500 meters. He's like, I think it's about 5K. I was like, I'm out. I'm out. Touched out. I was like, can you see where I am? Can you come up and meet me? And so he did some illegal driving up some private roads and we had the most incredible, he bought me, I literally downed like 2 litres of water, a litre of tea, cheese and onion crisps, can of Coke. We just sat there.
How was your nausea, Eddie? Because 39 miles.
No, good. Yeah, it could trigger it. But I was like really strict about, I had my nausea pills, but because I think I was really strict about this heart rate, I think that was 28 miles. And he was like, do you want to just call it? And we can just, you can finish there. I was like, I could. I've done like, but as we all know, these
big run. You've done a big run.
I've done a big run and no one would judge me. That's a big, long run. But then I thought, the next 10, it was about another 11 miles. That's a bit where the hard work's done. That was actually relatively easy. That's where the magic happens.
And you had to get out, but you went on. That's also double magic.
This is it, double magic. So I was like, no, I refilled half my bottles, jogged down into the little village, co-op. The co-op got smashed, Gary. It got... Hope you
had your members card. It would cost you a fortune otherwise.
Yeah, Bryn's got members card. He's flashed that. Good 20p off. I bought 2 litres of water, 2 litres of Coke, 3 packets of crisps. Crisps seemed to be the order of the day. Stood outside the garage. Absolutely disgusting, but I absolutely loved it. Refilled. I was like, do I need 4 more bottles? bottles? Yes. Refilled bottles, half Coke, half water. That is the trick. 3 packets of crisps. Absolutely. My kids just watched mum eat a family pack of Skips. And I said, this is how it's done, kids. Watch this.
Old school.
Skips, I think, are the new running food. Because they are small,
they disintegrate,
they're
don't
light, and they just disintegrate. There's no crunching needed. They are going to be in my race. They are so good.
I can't think of another crisp that disintegrates like a Skip.
And they're not too salty. They do that like when you want more crisps, whatever it is that's in there, that emulsifier thing. But they're not like the salt and vinegar when you're like, oh God, sometimes because your tongue can get a bit sore, can't it, from so much sugar. Walked out of there towards my next hill, eating the Skips, thinking, this is my best life. I love this. Then I had a 6 mile along the river flat, which was my only really bit of flat, which I had to run. So I was like, just lock it in. These are the bits you'll learn when you do Northern Traverse. These are the bits that really matter that you run. They make the difference between being able to shuffle and run when you don't want to, and mentally they're really hard because there's nothing to break them up.
20-odd minute mile or a 15-minute mile, isn't it? It's
you're
huge
just
difference.
I wasn't that slow. You're just watching like the Ks go down, the slowest Ks in the world. And this was why this run was so important. I got myself into that place of like zen. As Debs has said, I don't think she said it on this podcast, but she said it to me before, and I've said it before, going to that contented place where you're there, it's happening. You wouldn't want to be anywhere else. You don't really want to be there, but you are there. And it's just like a contented, like you're not fighting it. You're not fighting your brain. You're not fighting anything. You're just letting it be.
It's not the pain cave. It's like the comfy cave.
Yeah, the contentment cave, I would call it. Yeah. That you're just like, you can't fight the battle all the time of like, I'm so slow. I'm so hot. This is so hard. I want to go home. Just fighting that. And so I'm so happy that I did carry on and I found that. And I was just like, hadn't been there for a while. And I was like, it's still there. That cave's is still there. And I like it here. And then I arrived to Grandma's place, to reception of people cheering and clapping like I'd done some sort of like incredible feat. Sat down straight for a pot of tea, fruits gone. Incredible. Incredible. I had a shower, got on with the rest of the day. It did take me quite. Rest of the day was about 3 o'clock by now. It took me a while. But that was good. That was hard to organise as a family. So thank you to family for supporting me doing that. I think before Winter Downs 200, I hadn't done those. And I did a lot of that before the spine of those solo long days. And I think they are really important. Being by yourself, just like a long day, stretching ahead and managing your effort and your fueling. I'm really happy that I did that.
Filled your cup, family time.
My cup, family time, and then mum destroys herself. It's rinse and repeat. So there we go.
Do you ever get holiday blues? I always get holiday blues.
I don't know. I'm so happy to be home with a washing machine and a bed and stuff.
Yeah, to be fair, you've had a different experience. Camping isn't like B&Bs or 3 or 4 star hotels, all inclusive.
Not
Swimming
like your
pools.
holiday. You're going on with your 5-star all inclusive.
Well, I'm worried I'm going to get
menu
squirted by the protesters in Spain. They're not happy about tourism. Over tourism, I think, is, and I've got to have some sympathy with their plight. I just wish I'd been more up to date with current affairs before I booked a holiday to Spain. I would have went to Finland otherwise, but we will see.
What you been up to? How you feeling? Not long now. 10 days.
Well, it's a bit of a blur since the Tea and Trails Ultra. It seems like ages ago. I had a couple of days in the lakes for Esme's birthday, some really nice family time. We did some low-level walking too, actually. There's no way I was going to drag them up any mountains, so we just went to little walk around Derwent Water. Really enjoyed that. Food recommendations, though. If you're in Keswick and you are after a nice meal out, this is Baru Street Food. It's Indian tapas. Now that sounds a bit pretentious. It really wasn't pretentious. You could get Draft Cobra if you like that kind of thing too. But if you were after a chicken tikka masala, it probably isn't that kind of place. But oh my goodness, mate, it was absolutely 10 out of 10. Then what I did the next day, I thought I'd go and do one of a Wainwright that I'd not done around that Skidder area, which was Dodds, and so I did that, but I ran via the Tea and Trails Ultra site. I'm so grateful that I did, because out of nowhere I needed a number 2. Literally, I was desperate for number 2, and I turned the corner and there was the site full of all the portaloos that hadn't been taken back by whoever supplies the portaloos. So I had to dive into it. Was like an oasis, but without sand and a water feature and some vegetation. I put them to good use. But then we had to wave.
God.
But then we had to wave goodbye to the lake, so it was sad times. I bought a plyo box. Maybe the best bit of equipment.
Can you jump up on it?
That's like high risk 2 weeks before a race. How big's your box, Eddie? I've got it.
It is huge. It's a 30.
Broke mine in 14 inches, 12. Oh my goodness, maybe not 30 inches. When I do my home exercises, which I'm finding friction with going to the gym, I end up doing them at home. And a lot of the exercises in step ups, and my stairs don't really seem to.
No, because you have to move forward as well. You need, my box I use for single leg Bulgarian, for split squats, for step ups, for incline press ups, for tricep dips,
if I'm doing dumbbell rows, that kind of thing. Oh,
just lying on, sitting on,
press ups.
And then when the kids come in, they just jump on it. I did used to do a lot of jumps onto it, and I've sort of got out of the habit of doing jumps on it, jumps off it. You can do everything on it.
What else did I do? I went to the orchestra. Very highbrow evening. My niece is part of the second violin. It was the Beacons of Light. It was a 25-year anniversary of the orchestra that she was in. So that was really nice. And if you're a Sunderland fan, the Beacon of Light is nestled right next door to the Stadium of Light. Finally jet washed the drive, and that's not a euphemism. I hate any yard work. You're the same. We don't really.
I did yard work too when we came back because it looked like nobody lived in our house anymore, as all the weeds had come out. But
I think jet washing the drive has to be the worst job of all.
Why?
The yard work.
I'd love to jet wash your drive, Gary.
I got a blister.
That big pipe in my hands, and I feel in control. Turn it on to high power and just.
That'll be over very quickly. Generally speaking, I really don't care if I've got a forest growing out of my drive. But because where I live, my neighbours do care about their external
I'm
appearance.
more worried about what the Amazon driver will think when he comes to deliver my water filter, that he'll think, my God, what sort of place do these people live at? Because the grass and the weeds. But I like what do we call it? We've renaturalized a lot of our garden. Because weeds are fine, aren't they?
What do they say? Don't cut your grass and your hedges until May, isn't it? So all the birds can get their nests.
What, till next
May?
May?
I fully embrace that when they say that on Country File. I have vented after last week's chat with Colin.
Of course you have.
I thought I'd finally take the plunge, and I've entered the 13.
That's really funny that you have, because I'm overtraining now. Not overtraining, as in I'm ready to stop training and to stop worrying about, which pretty much have the last couple of weeks. But I'm like, I can't wait till after Race Across Scotland to not have a race and just to be like, I am just going to have a 6 weeks or so of doing whatever I want. 13 Valleys for me last year was an adventure. Yeah, I put everything in the Lakeland 100. Then I did go on holiday, so it was pretty similar. And I did start running again before the 13 Valleys. I might have even done a couple of recce's over at the lakes. But yeah, I'll tell a lie. I would like to go a bit quicker than I did last year, if I can. It's just having the race that gives me, I'm just looking forward to not having anything. Because also I've got this really important race in April, so everything's going into that. So I want to start the build for that in October. It's all right. I'll be 6 weeks ahead of you. That's fine.
I did struggle last year, but I got to say I had a blast. So I'm hoping to kind of recreate that kind of adventure, but hopefully a little bit quicker. TV, we are watching Yellow Jackets. I don't think it's one for the Sutton household. How do I describe it?
I don't think you even need to describe it. I can imagine what it is. Some sort of Western guns.
No, it's an American football, not American football, like soccer, but a ladies' soccer team who are in a plane crash and they're kind of stranded in the wilderness. It's all a bit kind of, not spiritual, but a bit ritualistic, so it can be quite scary. So if you don't like horror genre, I wouldn't really say it's a horror. Yeah.
Your recommendations
Andor, literally 11 out of 10. Maybe the greatest sci-fi drama ever. Spectacular. Now we're going to slip straight into Rogue One. Honestly, it's got everything from
Can we watch it if we've not watched anything like that before? Or is
it's a kind of, there's lots of little stories within the Star Wars universe.
Oh,
and
it's
some of them
a
like
Star
are
Wars
running,
one. Okay.
Yeah, running parallel. And this does build up to, I don't think it's a spoiler, the Death Star. I suppose that's the finishing point of Andor. You know, they've got Jeopardy, there's love interest, there's Pearl, there's all the droids, probably the best droids that I can think of in a Star Wars franchise. You've got Betrayal, the special effects for a TV drama, just out of this world. It's literally the only thing that's making me pay for Disney. It is that good. We had a chat. Which of the streaming services would we not resubscribe to? And surprised, but Netflix came out as the one that we'd probably been off.
I'd say Sky Sports, and that would go down like that one is. There's so many. Sky Sports Golf, Sky Sports. There is never not Sky Sports on in our house of something. And I'm like, what is this? Well, I'm watching the Wimbledon final from 1991. Oh my God.
But yeah, we're like easing into, now we are on the tip of the Lakeland 100. I'm not too sure if it's unique for me. I know we chatted about these last minute purchases, but the WhatsApp group that I'm involved in, it's like a daily update for people that are making panic purchase or updating their kit. And it's fair to say, I'm not too sure if I'm too happy about it actually. It's going to be a strong, we are not sponsored, but it's going to be a strong Adidas Terex look. From toe to top, I've seen lots of Terex. Imagine like Jim Walmsley, Tom Evans, that kind of vibe.
This is how your group will see yourselves as well, isn't it? This is what you're looking
Luke Grenfell-Shaw, dripping with merch, but put on, maybe a few kilos, thinner hair and a few more wrinkles. That is what we're going to be looking on the start line. But I
can't wait to see you all lined up on the start line in your slightly too tight Adidas Terex shorts.
Those Terex, they are the Speed Ultras. They're the super duper ones. I think that they're probably a couple of years old now. Oh my goodness me. If you're in a runnable section, they are like the Ferrari of trail running shoes. Like none other I've tried.
You'll literally break your ankle.
High risk. Yeah, I did all day. We didn't see many people when we were out actually the other day in the lakes. And I picked my moment to tumble exactly when we passed somebody. I did a proper roly-poly, bruised my back on my bloody poles. Spectacular. Oi. But yeah, we're hanging on in there. I've got a bit of a sniffle, but taper's going okay. Thanks, Precision Fuel and Hydration, for supporting Brew with the coaches. Their website and newsletters are such a good source of knowledge, articles to read and YouTube content to binge on too. On YouTube, you can learn how to fuel an ultramarathon, what pro runners carry on race day, and how to nail your marathon prep. I love how they dip into every sport. They're really curious, the guys over Precision Fuel and Hydration. So you'll see them with the tour. They're very heavily into the cycling, the triathlon and the running. But also, you see them, anybody who's watched, say, Western States. We do these training runs and it's really hard to collect data from a training run, but they are out in the field testing these athletes who are pushing themselves to the limit over 100k, 100 miles. And it's just great to see, because then they'll bring all that findings back and hopefully then they'll move the needle. I've resigned to the fact, Lakeland 100, I am going to puke at some point. It's just how I manage it from then on in.
I think that is a good way to focus on it, in that I'm not to fear it, because I think then you won't eat, because you'll be like, but just to when it comes, what is my strategy for when the nausea? So I've got a clear strategy now of when it comes to try and fight it, what I'm going to do. I'm even going to write it down, and I think I'm going to write it down and give it to Debs too to go, because as we when we talk to Debs at Western States, and you get into that cycle and you can't break it because the brain goes to absolute mush. And you think you just become like a warrior moving forward, but you think you're being a warrior moving forward.
It doesn't serve you well, does it?
It doesn't serve you well. So I think having a strategy of not being scared the nausea will hit, what you're going to do when the nausea hits, rather than I'm not, if I am sick, then it's the end and it's all going to get in that cycle again. It's I will feel sick, I might be sick, but this is my strategy for dealing with it. So
my plan is to go with the flow gel because it's a little easier to get down. Hopefully maybe hold off the sickness and then lean onto the Kendall
skips.
Cake. This is going to go out on Friday, which is literally exactly a week out from the Lakeland 100 and a week and a day for the Lakeland 50. So it was perfect timing.
Top tips for your race week. We've both done lots and lots of races. First of all, race week sucks, doesn't it? You just feel sick. You don't want to do it. You do want to do it. You just want it to hurry up. You're out of your normal routine. You feel sluggish. You feel like you can feel a bit heavy. You can get a snivel. All these sort of things can happen. You go running and you feel horrible. You do a 3-mile run and you're like, oh, I can't do it. This is all normal, isn't it? Not many people. I really hate people that go, I feel great. I always feel horrible. You know, you're out of that heavy training cycle, and so you almost feel like you forget how you
do get more time in your life, though. You can start to do jobs around the house.
Don't do that. Do not do yard work.
Well, yeah, don't go and climb up ladders and stuff like that. I think I had a mate, Chris. Oh my goodness me, I think he'd done his coffin one year. Not everybody has this luxury. You know, I appreciate people have jobs they can't just be fluid and flexible with. For me, if I can at all possible, I'd love to travel early. If I could have a full day before the physical race day, just to get that admin out of the way. If you can get some more sleep than usual, if your family can give you a bit of grace, you know, maybe do a deal with your partner saying, you know, I'm going to be a bit grumpy. I want to go to bed early. I want to get out of bed a bit later this week. Be fully present next week. Then maybe do a deal like that. Carb loading's probably changed quite a lot over the years. Oh, maybe 3 days out, I would start thinking about changing my diet from maybe less protein based, definitely nothing too much fibre involved or too fatty, go all the beige, nothing crazy. From an admin point of view too, say this weekend coming up, I will get all of my fuel, my pack packed, everything like that. I would do as much admin, even my drop bag for Daleman. I'll probably unpack it and pack it another 10 times, but I will not be doing that in the field at Coniston, literally day of the race. If I have the luxury of time this weekend, I will know exactly what it is. I've got like various boxes behind me, and I'll just think spare battery for the head torch or my burner phone. I'll just slowly be bringing everything together, drop it in the box, and then this weekend I will squeeze it all in the pack. Probably take it for a run, just a light little run, 6 miles, just to double check it. I've been doing that anyway for weeks and weeks and weeks.
The other thing I would add to that is a bit of mental preparation as well, giving your time, because people can get really, really anxious the week of the race as well, and it become a bit all consuming, and you can find yourself actually burning through that cortisol and adrenaline because you're like, so I think giving yourself the space every day to think about the race, you know, sit or when you go for a walk, being outside, I think, really helps. Feel all the feels, process it, and then just see yourself out on the course and know that you're going to be all right. You see yourself, maybe a favourite bit of the course, or just seeing your feet running on the trail and just breathing and just going, it's all going to be right. Visualising maybe what you're going to be doing at checkpoints, maybe. And I always like to visualise the end gantry. Just be like,
do you lean back on experiences? Do you visualize? Like I lean back on, say, I've had a really good year, so I'll lean back on London. You know, I had a really good year, all county tops. I'll not give the negatives any space whatsoever. So yeah,
I think you should let the negatives in. Because I think shouting them down can be harder work. I think allowing the negative to come in, or the anxiety to come in, and listening to it and then giving it an answer is better than going, but we're all different when we all cope with things differently. I think one of the biggest things is to know that everybody feels the same way, from the top performers to the first timers, that everybody feeling anxious, you know, feeling sluggish, feeling a niggle, feeling ill, not feeling that you want to be there. These are all like perfectly normal feelings, and it will pass. And the minute you start, you're going to feel better. And I think that is a big thing as well. I just jump back to the carb loading. I'm not a big believer in personally eating a ton more, because I do think if you've got your taper right, I just keep eating what I normally would eat when I train, but I'm just storing those carbs as well. You do the same. Is it a cut out from, like, say the race is Saturday, from pretty much Wednesday evening, Thursday being like my pre-race meal, really, actually, of like, then I start no fruit, maybe I have an apple just because I like an apple or carrot, but really like beige, pasta, rice, a little bit of sauce, but very little fibre, just keeping it super simple. And the same for the breakfast on the morning of the race. It's so hard to get breakfast down when you're nervous and it's 3 o'clock in the morning or something. Keeping it something that you like and something that just like a little bit, just having a little bit of nibbling. I'd add a pudding, so I'd have something like an apple crumble or something, and I'd make sure I'd had that mid-afternoon snack of something.
This is one thing I do. Say London Marathon's a classic. I will always have, it could be a bag of jelly tots or something. So if I ever do feel...
Especially if you're going to like registration, you've got a queue and stuff. The other thing I do before the race as well is like maybe on the Thursday is I take a gel when I'm running, just to remind myself and my gut that what it tastes like, because the last like 2 weeks you probably wouldn't really have taken that much gels and stuff. So I just like to like, right, yeah, get gel going down. That's what it tastes like. Gut, are you ready for what's coming for you?
What's race morning like for you? For me personally, I know Lakeland 100 starts in the evening. I'll start my nutrition probably about 3 hours before the race. I will wake up, drink 3 scoops of the Precision Fuel and Hydration, the drink and electrolyte mix. That'll be the first thing I do to start the hydration process. Then maybe 2 hours before the race, I will probably have what would be, say, classically breakfast, or in the Lakeland 100 it would be like an afternoon meal. And that would be quite, for me, it'll be probably a tin and a half of maybe 2 tins of rice pudding. So a lot of carbs have gone in then. And then I'll just maybe have a bag of jelly tots with me or some gels just to kind of nibble on it. Maybe 2 hours before the race would be the last time I take on huge amounts of fluids. I don't want to be on the start line busting for a wee. Even for the Lakeland 100, I still would have a gel or two, maybe 10 or 15 minutes before the start of the race. And yeah, just a little bit of a drink then just to kind of wash it down. But other than that...
I just add tea into that mix. I try to have probably 3 cups of tea. So say the race started 6, I'd get up at like 3:30, cup of tea, and I'd eat my breakfast as early as I could, just so that it's been digested. And then, like,
I know it's disgusting, but you just wanted to kind of get through the body, basically.
Get it through the body and just eat it. It's not going to be pretty.
But even like if you are at the Lakeland 100, you're sitting in the... It's like you were saying about queuing for registration. I will maybe have some malt loaf on me or something, just something to nibble on while I'm sitting there listening to Mark wax lyrical about who's going to finish and who's not going to finish.
This makes me feel sick. Oh my God.
So basically, yeah, that is like a priority for me. I don't ever want to be hungry in that the 2 days before the race. So I would maybe have more meals, but smaller meals. I think that's something I'll probably do, especially on the race day too.
Good tip, especially because you've given a big plate of pasta and you're like...
And don't get on the scales. If you're at all sensitive, you probably will be putting on a bit of weight that last couple of days. So do not step on the scales.
Just breathe and believe. Breathe and believe. You got this.
Thanks, Harrier Trail Running, for sponsoring our Strava Club and the Tales from the Trails section. Harrier is the UK's fastest growing brand for trail runners, providing specialist kit designed for superior fit, comfort and function with the best customer support. Check them out for race vests, waterproofs, poles and other trail essentials at www.harrierrunfree.co.uk, where you can also download your free copy of How to Run an Ultra Guide. Use the code T10 for 10% off site-wide, or check out their brilliant trail bundles for a special 20% off. First up in the Strava Club is Andrew Wilson Long, 61 miles for the week with the longest run of 19.3 miles and total elevation of 3,461 feet. Andrew gets about. Lovely London miles, some northern miles too. Yeah, he went up to York. Next up is James Yardley, 62.6 miles for the week with the longest run of 24.4 miles and total vert 11,024 feet. Lovely long run with loads of summit bags. Drone footage too looked incredible, and a bit on the bike and a lovely stroll. Last up is Karen Hacker, 64.9 miles with the longest run of 21.8 miles and 6,936 feet of vert. We've got a big long run, workouts on the bike, lovely trails. Karen, yeah, good job everybody. Tales from the trails. Hi Eddie and Gary, my tale, which I think is probably a lot more exciting in my head, is while running the T and Trails Ultra 50k on Saturday in the stunning North Lake District, I had a massive case of imposter syndrome kick in. Around the halfway mark, deep in the internal battle of keep moving forward, I was being chased down by the elite pack of women. Having already climbed Blencathra with them, I knew it was Trish and Lucy G. Lucy G, I wonder if anybody calls her.
I'm going to call her that now. Lucy G.
plus a couple of other legends. Up ahead, I was now aware of two figures approaching, talking to runners in front of me. Hi Gary, hi Eddie, starstruck babbling time. I suspected you pair would run with the pack behind me, and I was correct. What I didn't expect was that I would end up in a crazy, to me, situation of running behind Lucy and Eddie and in front of Gary and Trish for a mile or so before the upsetting moment of watching Eddie trip up Lucy Gossage. Race sabotage, haha. Joking, no trips were seen. But I hope Lucy is okay after she took a whack on the way down. She bounced up and smiled. It must have hurt though. On we went to checkpoint 2 where tea was drunk by you all. But I went on. My last sighting of the incredible ladies was them disappearing into the clouds above me on our way to Skidder. My quads were trashed, but on I went into the most crazy wind I've ever experienced at the summit. Then on to the finish for a pint and a podcast. Exceptional. Thanks so much for the weekend. Absolutely loved it. I don't think that running with a live in-race podcast for me will ever be topped. Thanks again. Big love to all. Absolute legends. Will Woodridge 273. Thanks, Will.
Well, we had the pleasure of sharing some miles with Will. We loved it.
That was such a treat, wasn't it? Being out on the trails with all the listeners.
It was brilliant.
Absolutely loved that.
It was brilliant. We've got another one. We're smorgasbording tales from the trails. The Tales and Trails weekend was a chance for my crew, Richie Snorts and myself, to come together from our various ends of the country to have a lovely weekend in the mountains. It's worth noting I live in Cornwall, a long way from any mountains, so this was quite far outside of my comfort zone. But the lure of my lovely friends and the possibility of meeting my podcast heroes was enough to get me towing the 30k start line. The other two don't listen to the podcast. Right. Okay.
Wonder if they do now.
Remember that. Save their lives and they don't listen to podcasts. And if I'm honest, seemed a bit nervous that I was going to embarrass us when I finally clapped eyes on Eddie and Gary. Well, the day started and I was having the most lovely morning out. We were trotting along happily. It wasn't raining. The chat was flowing. Spirits were high. And before I knew it, we were at Skidder House for the first checkpoint. Bit of eye-rolling from our more seasoned mountain runner Snorts as she had to stand around waiting for us to enjoy a nice brew and tray break. What a treat. Full of cake and good vibes, on we trotted, now needing waterproofs for the worsening weather. Still jogging, just a bit soggy. At the next checkpoint, me and Richie got our poles out for the first time, as in the actual first time ever, and briefly got in the way of other runners while we practiced what you actually did with them. We were soon loving them, and I think we made good time on the hike. It seemed to flatten out and thought that was it, and was feeling rather pleased with myself that we were the hill hiking champions. Soon after, flagging a bit, we stopped for a gel and noticed the wind had really picked up, alongside continuous driving rain. Snorts is not one for faff, and she was getting cold, so she made her way up ahead of us. Rich and me got going, but quickly started to feel a bit out of our depth. It got really steep, and the wind was battering us. I had a sense of rising panic, but thought the best plan was try and sound reassuring to Richie, who looked like I felt shit scared. We got to the top and things got worse. We set off to get round that can and I still cannot believe there were marshals up there. It was insane. We were properly fearing for our lives, never going to see our kids again, you know, that kind of thing. Visibility was terrible and for a brief scarier moment we lost sight of the red flags waymarking the route. The wind blowing my headband over my eyes probably didn't help. I was freezing by this point. I couldn't feel my hands but also knew we couldn't stop in these conditions. We got through a gate and it looked like we were going to head down, so I suggested we stop and put some layers on. As we were battling with waterproofs blowing away and trying to get some layers on, who should pop up as in our knights in shining armour / outdoor gear but Gary and Eddie. Well, we were treated to a complete love bomb of kindness. Eddie helped me put my glove on my hands as they were numb, making everything take forever. They opened our food wrappers, got us moving and offered some loveliness when there were tears of relief that maybe we were actually going to get down alive. Maybe you could try a little run now. And maybe we could pop those poles away. We're just the right side of a kick up the arse while sensitive to our still traumatised state. We talked to them about our mountain goat friend Snorts who had gone on ahead, and as we headed down together, soon enough there she was. Reunited, they handed us over to our more robust and capable pal, and off they trotted. On reflection, it's a shame it was my least outdoorsy badass moment that we had our special encounter, but never mind. Overall, it was a sensational weekend full of lovely people and memorable experiences in a beautiful place with my favourite ladies. What more could you want? Well, maybe some sun on Saturday, actually. That is from Vicky Sparks. We've got some lovely memories of our mountain rescue. You guys were brilliant, and what an experience to experience that sort of weather. You were getting yourselves off the mountains, and we just added some humour, some light humour to the situation that helped lighten the mood a little bit. And then I just hit your bottoms with my pole and went, come on, jog on, it'll all be fine.
Thank you, Protein Rebel, for bringing us home. Gentle on your stomach, driving your performance. Whether you're trying to get a PB or training for your first marathon or completing your 10th ultra, Protein Rebel's products are easy to digest with no artificial additives, providing both performance and overall health benefits. It's been a while since we've had a competition, Eddie.
You love a competition.
Well, the awesome team at the Ultra 13 Valleys and Ultra are providing this month's prizes to be in with a chance of winning a race place to any of the distances and a pair of Ultra shoes. You need to pop over to Instagram. This is a biggie. Wow, this is a big prize. Like this post, share the post to your stories, follow Tea and Trails, follow 13 Valleys Ultra, and follow Ultra Running Europe, and in the comments mention which race you would enter of the 13 Valleys and why. The competition closes at midnight on the 31st of July 2025, and this competition is for Instagram only. One winner will be picked at random and be contacted by direct message.
So you will slip into their DMs.
I will slip into their DMs.
August. That is a great. If you're going to choose a race, you're gonna get it free. You're gonna go the big one.
I think the 5 or the 7 have the best weekend, though.
I think so too. Yeah, I think you're right there. Ultras, you're a big Ultra fan. I've never worn them. The Mont Blanc Carbon.
We got some listeners' questions. This question comes from Becky Bancroft. Why does Gary never listen to Eddie's training advice?
I think you're like my kids in that you take on board what you want to hear.
Yeah.
And you process that, and the bits you don't, you just totally ignore, or you just.
It's like any training plan I follow. I look at it and go, well, I like that bit, but last year I enjoyed doing this bit. So I will cherry pick. I think it was a Dean Carnassus. Listen to everybody, follow nobody, he said.
Well,
so
I think you are not ashamed then to go, I overdid it, which is always the case, isn't it? Like what you're actually doing training is sensational, A start. But it's the listening and resting, I think, is probably your biggest downfall, isn't it? I think you have got better.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I definitely don't the same kind of volume that I used to do. But maybe that's because, I am listening to my body. It just doesn't recover as quick as it used to. But fundamentally, I'm a greedy runner and I like walking my own path.
You don't like being told what to do. Even like in our podcast admin, I learn how to get you to do stuff because I don't.
That's
if
true.
I ask you to do stuff, then you're like, I think it goes back to being a kid and stuff, being at school. You're like, no one tells me what to do.
Bossed by 3 sisters.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? And I think you get a bit of that when I'm like, do this. You're like, and so now I just plant the seed and then I leave it there.
But quite often, actually, coincidentally, our training doesn't mirror each other, but we do similar workouts.
We do,
and I
very
will say,
similar.
London Marathon, my strategy was 2 gels an hour, and you said, no, Gary, 1 every 20 minutes. And that's exactly what I did, and I think it did serve me well. So, yes, I think I just like to do my own thing, and I like to do, I don't know, my mates say, we're going to the lakes on Friday, then I'll go, oh, wow, that wasn't on the plan, but I really want to go to the lakes on Friday.
Well, I think that's really important. And I say that to all my athletes as well. It's like, I write the plan and then we adapt it. The plan is there in pencil and then we rub it out and we move it around to fit into life and we move it every day and we change it.
Yeah.
If you can't do that with your plan, then it's not a plan because then it's just, it's got to work. Your life comes first and then everything else fits in and you try and tick off what you can. But by changing and being flexible, that is success of the plan. Your actual training is really, really good. It's just sometimes the combination, the way that you do it is not, and it's only that you're telling me and I go, boo. But you always manage to pull it off. You've not had a sensational, you're not injured, you're motivated, you've had great races. So I would say don't listen to Eddie. My nervousness is this 13 Valleys. That's probably my biggest nervousness from you from all the years. It will turn into a puke fest because you're tired. But I'm encouraging you to doing it because I'm like September, when October comes around and I start my 4-month training plan, you're going backwards, I'm going forwards, baby.
That is my worry that because of the Northern Traverse, I probably should give myself a little bit more time to breathe.
No, I say do it. Do a 13 Valley, do a double. Go back again. Do it. It, get to the finish and then turn around and do the first one to do the double.
Oh, I had such a blast though last year. Even though I was being sick, I did really enjoy it. I did. I had a great time. I wouldn't be going back again if I didn't enjoy it.
Let's listen back to that episode. Right, next question.
True. From Becca. Oh, Canort. Apologies, Becca, if I've pronounced that wrong.
Canal. Canoe, not naught.
Canoe.
Anyway, Becca, you tell us. But you're Becca. Let's just call her Becca. Thanks, Becca.
What do you do to make sure you keep motivated through your training when you really don't want to get out? And how do you make sure you keep your running exciting and motivating?
Firstly, training is not exciting. It's not exciting. It's a grind. It's boring. It's repetitive. It's dull. If you are thinking, I want to make this fun, I want to make this exciting, you need to take a reality pill that actually 90% of training is heading out your door, choosing to go left and right, and running the same paths you run every single day, feeling the same feelings, feeling very little improvement. But it's looking at the big picture, isn't it? Of like, so accepting that if you are looking for excitement and like every session being like, being super up for it, I think just being realistic and being like, that's just, I'm afraid, especially training for an ultra, that is not the way you're going to feel a lot of the time. And if you're doing it right, it is repetitive. You repeat the same things, but investing in that and being like, but this is what every coin is going in the bank for those sort of runs. And I think you can find joy in all those little runs of being out, breathing, nature, seasons, having the time, finding like, what is it? But not just finding joy, but also like gratitude in the fact that we get to do this. So rather than looking at it as like, this is so dull or this is so boring, like, but I'm getting to be out and getting to see what bins my neighbours are putting out, all that sort of thing. I think to keep you motivated through your training when you really don't want to go out, I've said this before, is I don't think, I just do. There's no point having that argument in your head about whether you're going to go out or you're not going to go out because you're going to go out. Just don't think about it if you have to do it at the end of the day.
It's not a conversation I have.
Not a conversation that I have. I'm just going to get out. I'm going to go out. And I always do that. Just do 5 minutes. See how
I might move it though, Eddie. If like, say today should be my workout day, but there's lots going on. So maybe I'll move that to tomorrow.
Yeah, if there's a lot going on. But I always think, my always thing is like, I don't think about it. Just do it. Don't think about it. And I always think the way that I feel when I'm sitting at home at the desk or something, I'm thinking, oh God, I've got to go out. That is not how I'm going to feel when I go running, because it's very, very rarely it relates to when it's like 5 o'clock and you've got to go out and you've been working all day or whatever, you've had the kids all day or been for a long drive or something, and you think, actually, that doesn't mean that my run is going to feel the same way. So decoupling that feeling of how you're feeling before you start to the feeling that is not how you're late. And often everyone will agree your best workouts sometimes come from when you think, oh God, this isn't, I do not have this. And then once you start, you actually find, and that's a great lesson to learn for racing as well. Sometimes you can feel at mile 10 of a 100-miler, I'm a bit tired. I feel I've been a bit like negative, but I think it's important to be real about motivation. And
well, I do grab onto new fads. Like there's no secret that we both
love a new fad.
You know, love the heat training. When we, maybe some of our listeners and yourself, the whole incline treadmill, I'll do things like that just to freshen it up.
Meeting with friends, going for a long run, planning a different route. You know, I love a planner adventure route, or just drive like 4 miles down the road and then I'm on different trails. Can give a whole another level to your long run.
True. I will listen to the whispers too. I don't want to overcook my brain, you know, so I'll enter races that I want to do as opposed to maybe what the marketeers want me to do. Because we see people, wow, I've been trail running maybe for 15 years and I've seen people who maybe are completers and competers burn bright for a year or two and then disappear. And I don't want that to be me. I do check in with my frenemies now and again over on Strava just to see what they are up to.
Stop it. Do you really? I would never do that, because that would give me like, I think comparison is the thief of joy, and you cannot compare. If I compared my running, well, I like to see what they're doing, but I would never say that's what I should be doing, because nobody tells.
I don't change anything. You know, fundamentally don't do anything different. I don't do anything different, but it's just a little...
It wouldn't make me feel good that if I went and looked like what Emma Stewart was doing or because our lives are completely different. So we shouldn't be doing the same stuff. If I was training the same way as someone without a family, then other things in my life, my kids would be at home, well, being feral, which maybe they are. Anyway, motivation. It's a long topic. We could do a whole podcast on it. And I think it ebbs and flows, doesn't it? And I probably have less motivated days than more motivated days, to be honest. Most days I just get it done. You know, you don't feel You just get it done, tick it off.
Strangest thing in your backpack?
Well, also, Bryn asked me, because when I was packing my bag for my adventure at the weekend, and I got out my little first aid kit, which has come with me for it's been on many adventures. Pennine Way, many times, fine. Northern Traverse twice now, I've wrecked it and raced it. Winter 200, those anti-back wipes, they've never been cracked open. Thank goodness. I said to Bryn, I don't think I would ever use them. Like, even if I cut my knee open or my elbow open on a race, I just enjoy the blood flow. And I'd be like, I just want it there because I want people to think I'm badass. Even when I've had blisters, I have never treated them, Gary, when I've been racing. I've never stopped. I just don't even look at them. This is what it is. I've got to take the pain and I'll just give them to Shane at the end of the race. I have just carried that my little first aid bag with all the stuff in, and I've
It's terrible advice, isn't it?
Come back. This is terrible advice. I'm not giving advice. I'm just saying the truth, that little bag has been, I don't think there's any antibacterial qualities left in those wipes now.
They bone dry when you take it out.
They will be. Maybe I could have sucked on them for a bit of moisture. Anything you have in your pack that you like, that always goes in my pack.
Well, I don't want to jinx it, but I've never used my bivvy bag personally, but I did when I did the film shoot with Daniel By a couple of years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And I was coming off Hike Up Nick. There was two walkers and one of them had fallen over, and she is on
You saved her life. She'd broken her arm, hadn't she? And
I don't know if I saved her life, but I passed on my bivvy bag, so she had my bivvy bag. So that's why it's super important. You think, I might not use this. Even bloody hell, roasting hot last Friday, I had my bivvy bag and my compass in my backpack and first aid kit.
Your compass. Do you know how to use a compass, Gary?
Well, this is it. That's the second thing, and I hope I'm not jinxing it, but I've never used a bivvy or a compass.
Well, the people are going to come at us for this one, Gary. We've never used our first aid kits, our compass, or our bivvy. I've used my bivvy bag on a number of occasions. It's well used. Been brought in and out of it. I've got one of those like survival bags. Mainly I've got into it when I'm waiting for the bus at the end of the long race or something. I did use it, I don't think in the spine. I think I got into my sleep system once, I think. I like having it though. And the same with the first aid kit. I joke saying I don't. That's when I'm racing. If I hurt myself when I was out, or if I had a bad blister, I would treat it if I was doing a long run. I've just been lucky, touch wood. I haven't needed it, but I like the familiarity of those little bags in the backpack, knowing that they're there. And I think that's right. They should always be there. It's like your first aid kit that you've got in your car and your ability to change your wheel if you had to. You hope you never have to use it, because I would be in a world of trouble. But the fact it's there is really important. So you should have it there.
I've got to qualify my compass statement though. 9 times out of 10 I'm on the trails with Robbo, and very often Robbo's there with his map and compass, just checking out where we're at.
What's coming up?
Well, well into taper time, so we will be a week out. I am remarkably calm, apart from my HRV is slowly climbing, and I've got a snivel. It's gone into the unbalance. No, it's gone in the unbalance.
Oh, it's going down. It's going down.
No, it's gone up the other end. It's like the glass ceiling has broke through the glass ceiling. So I'm a bit worried. But we are what we are. Wednesday? What is it? Wednesday or Thursday? So I've got over a week. So hopefully I would be very stressed if it was trending like that this time next week. George and I, we're going to go up to Sunderland later today, and we're going to buy proper dad-son moment. We're going to go and get the new Sunderland away kit 2025-2026 season. I saw on BBC Breakfast this morning, I'm forgetting on what seaside resort it is, somewhere in Italy. It's really famous. It's got beautiful painted buildings going all the way down to the sea. It's like a little cove. It's on, my goodness me, it's super popular. I'm blanking on the name. They've introduced a new rule. You're not allowed to be there with your top off. It's not just me.
On the beach or like wandering around the town?
Zero. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I'm not too sure if you're allowed on the beach with it. It made the BBC News this morning.
Oh, I'm going to have a look at that, Gary. And you could maybe copy and paste that, put that up around your local park.
Is it acceptable? Because the football and the trail running scene don't really mix. So assuming I finish the Lakeland 100, is it okay for me to wear my Sunderland top when I go on the stage and collect my slate?
You can do, but I won't be clapping you.
Is it okay for George and I to be walking around Malaga with our Sunderland tops on?
So very niche market, and I think you do what you want, Gary. Do what you want.
You do you. We're going to go buy the new Sunderland tops. Maybe some dirty food on the way home. We'll see. Lisa's away Anything goes.
Anything goes. I love it.
What about you?
Well,
this is exciting.
Yeah, this is exciting. I'm doing some more cramming. Cramming in the miles. So I'm going off, with some pals. We're running around the Isle of Wight over the weekend. Looking forward to that. So just going to do one workout. I haven't done it yet. The trouble is, if you do a mega long run, you just have got to be cautious for the couple of days afterwards to rehydrate. I don't want to push a workout. I'm too old for that now. Even though I feel recovered, I'm like, should I do it today? I think I will. I'm going to do chunky tempo, but uphill today on the treadmill a bit later on. Give myself as max time to chunky, a bit later. And then, a couple of long back-to-backs over the weekend with some pals. I'll tell you all about it next week. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in. We love you. We love you for listening. Gary and I talking about growing the podcast constantly. How can we grow the podcast? And so I put it into ChatGPT. Gary, how do you grow a podcast? The biggest way of successful is word of mouth, telling a friend. So your job this week, dear listener, you're running along, maybe you're listening in your car, wind your window down, get the person next to you at the traffic lights, get Spotify. Checking out the supermarket. Someone have a little glance down. They got the Hoka trainers on. Do you do that when you're in the supermarket and you see someone with good hamstrings or something and you're like Hoka trainers and you're like, I see you. Just get their phone out. Just ask to borrow their phone. Spotify, follow, give a listen to this. I do think, and Patreon. All our things on Patreon, all our things on Facebook, people say I was recommended by a friend. So if you've got a friend that runs or a friend that doesn't run, you don't need to be a runner to enjoy this dribbling, do you? Let us become their friends and open up their world to the tea and trails. Pop over to Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, subscribe, or as Gary said, you could become a Patreon. Thanks to Xmiles, Precision Rule Hydration, Phoenix Light UK, Harrier Trail Running, and Protein Rebel for sponsoring the shows. All the discount codes are in the show notes, but they're also T10 2025 for shocks. I used that, Gary. I took part in their sale and I bought a pair of the ones where you can put the music on, the MP3 ones. So you can download the music. I've had those before, but the battery has gone on them. So this one I'm going to try so that you don't have to fiddle with your phone. You can save your phone battery and you can put in, it's a lot of songs.
It's a cracking sale. I'm not too sure if it's still going, but that was really popular.
I think it's finished now. It was a good sale. T15 for Protein Rebel, Tea Time 2025 for Precision Fuel Hydration, and T10 for Harrier Trail Running. Thank you to all our partners, sponsors and Patreons. We wouldn't and we couldn't be doing this without you and your ongoing support.
Good luck to everybody out on the trails, racing, training, recceing, solo miles or miles with mates. Big shout out to our friends Punk Panther who have the Nidderdale Weekend Festival, and I have some friends taking part in the St Cuthbert's Way Ultra. Yeah, good luck Justin and good luck Chris, and thanks to our listener Martha Irwin. I share these race dates about what's coming up, these upcoming races. That is not me spending hours and hours trawling Google. That's an awesome listener, yeah. That Google Doc, Martha, is stunning. Whatever you're doing, let the trail rise to meet you and the wind always be on your back. Be kind to your future self. Breathe and believe. Breathe and believe. Roll with the joy and the miles will look after themselves. My name is Gary Thwaites.
And I'm Eddie Sutton, and something's just been written on my whiteboard. Please, can I watch some TV? No, you can't, you little rat. Go and read a book. That was the Tea and Trails podcast.